All right, big 49ers update with some great news, and we're going full on past and present with this one. Dre Greenlaw, now with the Denver Broncos, is on track to be ready for training camp. And yes, that is great news, even for 49ers fans, even though he's no longer a 49er, because Dre Greenlaw was a great 49er, and I think that we cheer for the health of all players in this gladiatorial sport. And Dre Greenlaw suffered that quad injury that we learned about a couple weeks ago. And there was some fear that this was going to be a truly extended absence for Dre. But according to Sean Payton, who spoke at the Broncos rookie minicamp, Dre Greenlaw is on track to be ready to be a full participant at training camp. Obviously, we still have to hope that it remains this way for Dre Greenlaw, because last season his body did not cooperate coming off of the Achilles tear. He was able to give 30-plus snaps to the 49ers. They looked really good, but then he wasn't able to go anymore. Just 4 snaps in that game against Miami after not being able to play in the second half of his return against the Rams. So all the best to Dre Greenlaw in Denver, and I think this offers a perfect segue to talk about Greenlaw's replacement, at least potential replacement in San Francisco. Got to see Nick Martin, meet Nick Martin, one of the 49ers' third-round picks this weekend. Nick Martin in his shark slippers. We can talk about a guy who's comfortable in his own skin, shows up to the NFL facility for the first time in his life and says, I'm going to go ahead and wear shark slippers. You know, I think that so much of this, though, is perfect from a symbolic standpoint. The 49ers once had a nickelback named K'Wan Williams, whom they used on creative blitz packages, and they called him the Shark. It was the Shark Blitz for K'Wan Williams, right? Well, Nick Martin, he can blitz. This guy was second in the FBS in 2023, suffered an MCL injury in 24 that cut his season short at Oklahoma State, but second with 83 solo tackles in 2023, 140 combined tackles, and 6 sacks. A lot of those sacks were improvisational sacks. Led the team in sacks and the Big 12 in tackles. And when we talk about K'Wan Williams' blitzing ability and we call him the Shark, well, it's fitting that a guy with 6 sacks in college during that 2023 season, and Nick Martin, this new 49ers linebacker, it's fitting that he showed up in shark slippers to the team facility. He is on the smaller end, right? This is a linebacker who's about in the 230-pound range, 220 to 230-pound range. So lighter than somebody like Dre Greenlaw by about 10 pounds. And Greenlaw was considered to be in the smaller range as well. But the game has moved to that direction. And when we watch the tape of Nick Martin, we can see first that he just explodes like he was shot out of a cannon. You could see him identifying the run there, moving very quickly laterally. Same thing here, stays disciplined, and then he's shot out of a cannon. That's a very quick burst. But here you can see he takes on an offensive lineman, and even at the lighter weight, does just fine. 220-plus pounds works well for Nick Martin. So the tape at Oklahoma State gave the 49ers a lot of confidence that this guy can play like Dre Greenlaw, which is almost a DB type of movement. He can move quickly enough to be a DB, but he plays violently enough to be a linebacker. There's a reason why I compared Nick Martin to Malik Mustafa as soon as he was drafted, and it's because he plays more like a muscled up safety than an old school linebacker. And that's what Dre Greenlaw was for the 49ers. And that's what they hope that Nick Martin's going to be for their system. They are playing a lot of zone defense. They want the guys on the back end to play true downhill football, run and hit football. You look at the stats for Nick Martin. I mean, I thought he was good in coverage at Oklahoma State, but he was a particularly good hitter. Downhill in coverage, those 140 tackles in 2023, that was a big deal for Nick Martin, the guy who showed up wearing the shark slippers to the 49ers team facility. Now, the background on Nick Martin, he's one of 4 boys, 3 older brothers who played sports. So he had to fend for himself when he was younger. He had to learn how to fight when he was younger. And I think a lot of NFL players, you see a similar dynamic. The guys that had to go through some adversity early on, and when the brothers are fighting a lot, I'm sure that was a lot of adversity in the house. I mean, Nick Martin's mom gave up on trying to stop the brothers from fighting. So she went ahead and just bought them all boxing gloves. Just go at it, have at it. And I think that's where you see some of the fight from Nick Martin. I think that's where you see some of the ability to take on the bigger linemen. And that's what the 49ers like. They want that combination of a guy who's quick enough to cover, quick enough to move sideline to sideline, but big enough and strong enough and dog enough so you could play bigger than your actual size to be in the middle of that fray. That's how you could make an ideal linebacker, an ideal back seven defender in this defense. On top of everything, one thing that I can tell you the 49ers really liked about Nick Martin is his vocal leadership. Alpha energy comes from this guy. Obviously, he's wearing shark slippers to the 49ers facility. I mean, he doesn't care what anybody else thinks of him. He's going to be a guy, you do you, and he believes in that. He's not afraid of outside opinions. He's going to carry a strong voice. He's going to wear shark slippers when he wants. And when he was hurt in 2024 with the MCL sprain, the Oklahoma State coaching staff said this guy essentially became a coach. He used his injury, harnessed it, and used it in a positive fashion for Oklahoma State. So many of these things that we hear as positives about Nick Martin were positives about Dre Greenlaw, which I think is really damn cool when you talk about the 49ers need to replace that weak side linebacker position. And it just so happened that we got the great news today on Dre Greenlaw. Not a season-ending injury. They are hoping that he's going to be back for the start of training camp. And the 49ers and Broncos actually will have one joint practice in Santa Clara on the new fields. They have a lot more room at the 49ers practice fields, or at least they will. The grass has been planted. I was at the facility yesterday. It's not in use yet. It's still growing, but they're going to have two side-by-side 100-yard fields. It used to be two side-by-side 80-yard fields. They will host a joint practice between the Denver Broncos and the 49ers. So we're going to get to see Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, DJ Jones, all those guys. Maybe, DJ Jones alongside CJ West, the new DJ Jones, Nick Martin alongside Dre Greenlaw, the replacement there. Talanoa Hufanga, I'm not sure exactly if the 49ers have a precise fill-in for him. He was such a unique player for them. The new safety, Marquise Siegel, much more impressive athletic measurements than Hufanga, but boy, Hufanga sure had a nose for the football. Good player for the 49ers, especially when he was able to stay healthy for San Francisco. We've got some contract news. A lot of the 49ers rookies have signed their contracts with the team. Now, these are slotted by the rookie wage scale. But Nick Martin, for example, 4 years, $6.6 million as a third-round pick, a $1.4 million signing bonus for Nick Martin, and a $1.2 million 2025 salary cap hit. San Francisco has now signed 7 of its 11 drafted rookies. They've obviously signed all the undrafted free agents, I think 5 of them on the field to make 17 total rookies. Those guys have to sign before they can participate. The draftees, they can actually sign a waiver, and most do. This seems to have been an issue for Shamar Stewart in Cincinnati, but they can sign a waiver that allows them to practice before the deal is completely finalized. There's some offset language that's a little bit negotiable. Typically, we see some of the disagreements and some of the longer contract haggling in the case of first-round picks because they have a lot of guaranteed money, with the offset language being a little bit more important there. But the only players who haven't signed yet are Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins, CJ West, and Jordan Watkins. At some point, they will sign. Nick Martin has signed a 4-year deal, $6.6 million, $1.4 million signing bonus for the 49ers. Then there was Upton Stout. He's also signed 4 years, $6.2 million, $1.1 million signing bonus, a $1.1 million 2025 salary cap hit. Running back Jordan James out of Oregon, 4 years, $4.6 million, $440,000 signing bonus, $950,000 2025 salary cap hit. Marquise Siegel, 49ers new safety, talked about him out of Kansas State, Big 12 school. 4 years, $4.6 million, $402,000 signing bonus, $941,000 2025 salary cap hit. The quarterback, Curtis Rourke, has also signed out of Indiana, 4 years, $4.3 million, $134,000 signing bonus. You could tell these signing bonuses are getting smaller as we move further into the draft. That is an $874,000 salary cap hit. And Connor Colby and Junior Bergen have both signed contracts very similar for Colby and Bergen because they were only a few spots apart in the 7th round. 4 years, $4.4 million for Colby, $102,000 signing bonus, $865,000 2025 salary cap hit. So the money is pre-slotted. The further down in the draft you are, the smaller signing bonus. The signing bonuses I just showed to you ranged from about $1.5 million all the way down to about $860,000 for Connor Colby and Junior Bergen. All told, this 49ers draft class is going to cost them roughly $10 million if all guys make the 53-man roster for all the players in 2025. So that goes to show you that the draft is by far the most cost-efficient way to build a football team. I have my 49ers draft sheet up and ready. You can go ahead and check it out. If maybe I could post a link over in the description of this video. I show it a lot during some of these lives. This is my 49ers drafted players salary cap sheet, so you could see how the players fit in within the overall financial structure of the football team. And my 53-man projection, and I think it's really important to calculate the salary cap on a 53-man projection because this is how expensive it's going to be to field the team on cutdown day, given the players who I project to make the 53-man roster. After the 53-man projection, as of right now, I have the 49ers with about $36.9 million in 2025 salary cap space. That includes the money they saved this year on George Kittle's contract. We're going to have a piece up in the San Francisco Standard talking about how San Francisco has done that. That does not include a new deal for Brock Purdy, who currently has a $5.2 million cap hit. So obviously he's going to get a new deal this offseason. It's going to become more expensive than $5.2 million, but they're still going to stretch it out further. They're going to elongate that. So I would expect Purdy to eat up about $15 million this year. If that does end up becoming the case, that lowers the 49ers about $26 million of space. They're going to need at least $5 million for in-season maneuvers. Who knows? They might trade somebody that costs even more during the course of the season, but they are in line to carry over the unused space from 2025 to 2026, which is really important for long-term salary cap sustainability. The 49ers have carried over about $40 million in each of the past couple seasons from year to year, and that's allowed them to surf the wave of the rising salary cap. That's how you fit Brock Purdy on this roster with a massive new contract alongside a bunch of A-list core players. And the A-list core players you see here shaded in yellow for San Francisco. Purdy, McCaffrey, Juszczyk, Kittle, Williams, Bosa, Warner, Deommodore Lenoir. That's a lot of A-list players for the 49ers, and they are now mixing the rookies who are shaded in green, the defensive linemen we talked about earlier, Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, C.J. West, and of course, Nick Martin, 49ers linebacker who has some safety traits, who was such a good tackler at Oklahoma State, leader of the football team. The knock on him is that the size isn't quite where Fred Warner's is, not even where Dre Greenlaw's is, but I think the 49ers really, they say his arm length is about the same as Dre Greenlaw's, by the way. And Greenlaw had long arms. 49ers believe the physical measurables will translate into success at the NFL level, especially combined with the mental makeup of the player. And it led to big-time production at Oklahoma State. We know how important that linebacker position is for the 49ers. Go ahead and check out the article up on the San Francisco Standard. I went through what we saw at rookie minicamp. We had to focus on the size because they didn't play 11 on 11. Pads obviously aren't on yet. So there's a whole lot of projection that goes on during the draft process, right after the draft process, OTAs, and then really training camp is when you can start getting a better gauge of some of these players. But I'm going to go through each player one by one. And I know that we just did Nick Martin. Maybe we'll do another piece on him a little bit later. I'm going to go through each player one by one in videos over the coming days as we talk about the 49ers rookie minicamp and what we learned from it. I will say, Jordan James was out there. Isaiah Nair, the receiver, undrafted free agent, was out there. Looks as impressive as you would think with all the hype, 6'4", 218. But now I actually want to see him delivering some contact with pads on. We talked to Junior Bergen. He's much smaller than Nair, but he says that his goal is to be in the Hall of Fame. Bergen, another guy, very comfortable in his own skin. Brant Boyer's son plays at Montana, was teammates with Junior Bergen, who set all those return records there. Would not shock me if Junior Bergen, just with the way his mentality is locked in, wouldn't shock me if he carved out a niche for himself in the NFL. Jordan Watkins, not a big guy, but he's light on his feet. He could move. Receiver out of Ole Miss. That's what I noticed from him. He was moving quickly for the 49ers at the rookie pro day. I was impressed with Connor Colby. He's a man of not many words. I mean, the interview was quick, short, and sweet. Sometimes you love that. He's not trying to BS you, that's for sure. He's just trying to come and block people. And that's Colby coming out of Iowa, where they're known for no-nonsense run blocking. They're going to have to develop him as a pass blocker. But I think my boldest prediction coming out of this 49ers draft is that Connor Colby is going to start sooner rather than later in his rookie season. So we're going to track him. Obviously, the article was about C.J. West, Alfred Collins, and Michael Williams. I never seen more size in the defensive line portion of the field at rookie minicamp covering the 49ers for almost a decade than I saw yesterday. And I think that's notable, especially the length. The arm length for Michael and for Alfred Collins, over 34 inches for both players. Alfred Collins has a wingspan over 7 feet long. The guy is huge. He was out with a calf injury. And it's a minor calf injury. I really wouldn't worry about it. But he's standing there right in front of us watching. I got to meet him a little bit before. Says he models his game after Calais Campbell, who's 6'8". Alfred is 6'5", maybe 6'6", maybe a little bit taller than that. But he listed at 6'5", but a lot of good, healthy weight. Like he was at 332 at Texas. He might be a little bit lighter now, but he doesn't look like a rotund 332-pounder. It looks like a lot of that is packed on in muscle, athletic muscle. I think Collins could be a hell of a player. Remember, 7 pass breakups with that 7-foot wingspan at Texas last year. So Alfred Collins can really get it done. I think it's going to add a new dynamic to what the 49ers can do with their pass rush on the inside. They were lacking on the interior. Upton Stout, we got a big trip coming up this week. Going to keep that a little under wraps, but Upton Stout was working with Jake Lynch, John Lynch's son. Jake is now on the 49ers staff yesterday. Upton looks every part the guy who led all NFL Combine DBs with 21 bench press reps. And we got to meet Marquise Siegel, another explosive player. We talked about him because he's got the best broad jump out of any of these guys, 10 feet, 10 inches. So when we did the big frog video, the celebrated jumping frog of Calaveras County, when we were at Angels camp a few days ago, we pivoted very quickly to Marquise Siegel because the guy's an athlete. And he's played corner before at North Dakota State before he transferred to Kansas State and played safety. So talk about adaptability, versatility on the back end. That's fun to watch. One guy who wasn't there was Stone Blanton. Stone Blanton is one of the linebackers out of Mississippi State. He's getting married this weekend, so he wasn't at rookie minicamp. So congratulations to Stone Blanton, big life milestone. I'm sure he'll be at OTAs and he'll be competing to try to make this team. If we're talking about linebackers, we got to mention Stone Blanton because Nick Martin was the only rookie linebacker at 49ers rookie minicamp. And Sebastian Valdez, defensive tackle out of Washington, he joined C.J. West, Collins, and Michael Williams up front. I mean, Valdez is a quick guy. He's just a little bit over 300, so he's not going to bring the same size as C.J. West and Alfred Collins can bring to the inside, but scrappy player, quick player who might be able to give the 49ers a boost. Don't discount it. Evan Anderson made the team as an undrafted free agent at the defensive tackle position last year. I talked about Colby. Look out for Drew Moss, Colorado State offensive guard for the 49ers. Moss and Colby have similar athletic profiles. Really, really good athletes, better run blockers than pass blockers, but the 49ers will try to develop both of these players. And finally, the running back, Corey Kiner. I talked about Jordan James and out of Oregon. He was there, and so was Corey Kiner. Corey Kiner wears number 49 for the 49ers. And there's a great story about that because 49 is the Bobby Turner, you got to prove it number. Matt Breida is an undrafted free agent, wore number 49 in 2017 during training camp, and that was a big deal for him. I mean, it was, he took it like a badge of honor, but it was an undrafted free agent, made the team. 49 was symbolic for him. Isaac Guerrero, similar type of story. Last season comes in wearing 49, tells Bobby Turner he wants the 3-1. And Turner says, well, if you do what you're supposed to wearing the 4-9 during training camp, you will earn number 31. And that story, of course, ended happily ever after for Isaac Guerrero. All right, there is your very inclusive, intensive 20-minute 49ers update. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Also, channel memberships open now. Check them out. We'll talk to you guys very soon.